UFC Charlotte was today, and it was an alright card. And recently we've had some decent cards, I guess. Some would say the quality's been lacking ever since UFC 285. And I guess kind of what we were promised this year, we were promised big things. We were promised McGregor, we were promised Jones versus Gunn, and so far so good. But over the next couple of months, it's looking kind of iffy, bro. We're talking Vittori versus Cannonier, bro. We're talking Nunes versus Aldana, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I've taken a look, especially in July, bro. And Strickland versus Magomedov, great fight. And then we get to this shit, dude. Holm versus fucking Mayra Bueno Silva as a main event, dude. Get out, bro. Fucking cat, dude. Every time, bro. Every time I start recording. Anyways, dude. Holm versus Mayra Bueno Silva as a fucking main event of Vicente Luque versus RDA. Even UFC 290, stacked card, okay? Very stacked card. Awesome fights. But Sean Brady versus Jack Della Maddalena on the prelims. You know what I'm saying, dude? Robbie Lawler on the prelims in his retirement fight. What the fuck are we doing around here, dude? What are we doing around here, bro? And I'm not even going to talk about the other fights, the fights that are happening, you know what I'm saying? I need to fix these cards. So what I've done today, and what I will be doing today, is fixing UFC's terrible, trash summer lineup. And that's starting with UFC 290, okay? So my first order of business is reshuffling these fights. Yeah? I'm going to be removing Sean Brady versus Jack Della Maddalena. And I'm going to be swapping Bo Nickel versus Tresean Gore to the prelims. And I'm going to be moving Robbie Lawler versus Nico Price, opening the main card. Now I hear you saying, why are you taking JDM versus Sean Brady off this card? It's already stacked. Why are you trying to get rid of good fights? Aren't you telling me this lineup is trash? It is trash, bro. Robbie Lawler should be on the main card. Bo Nickel should be on the prelims. And these are some other fights that I want to see on the prelims. Alright? First one that I really want to see. With the Australian vibes, this guy's been begging to get on the card. He needs to be on the card. This would be an awesome prelim fight. I want to see Jack Jenkins versus Doo-Ho Choi added to UFC 290. Right? If we're getting rid of, Figueiredo versus Manel Kape, it just got cancelled. And I'm pulling Sean Brady versus JDM off this card. I'm putting Doo-Ho Choi versus Jack Jenkins on the prelims. I think that's a pretty good fight to add onto those prelims. And a big ranked fight that I'm going to replace Sean Brady versus JDM with. Not necessarily as exciting of a fight, but still ranked. Still an Australian guy that has basically confirmed he's going to be on this card, or that he's aiming to get on this card. And another name that's very, very well liked, very popular in the UFC. I want to see Jimmy Crute versus Dominic Reyes headlining the prelims of UFC 290, or being the second fight before Bo Nickel versus Tresean Gore. I think this is the perfect UFC 290 prelim that we need to be seeing in the UFC, okay? So take off Sean Brady versus JDM, swap Robbie Lawler's fight with Bo Nickel's fight on the main card, then add Doo-Ho Choi versus Jack Jenkins, and add Jimmy Crute versus Dominic Reyes, and add whatever else you want. 290, done. Fixed, okay? Yeah, Volk, I'll fix your fucking card. That's it, Moving on. Fight night, Holm versus Bueno Silva. This is a fucking abomination of a card. Alright, this is a terrible card. Some of these fights are actually pretty good. I'm not even going to lie to you, dude. Azaitar versus Prado, pretty exciting matchup. Good to see Walt Harris back. Vicente Luque versus RDA should be the main event of this, but because the UFC's decided it needs to be 3 minutes and not 5 minutes, here's what I'm going to do. Number one, I'm going to remove RDA versus Vicente Luque. They don't deserve this fight now that they've got rid of it as a main event. So you know what? Have Holm versus Bueno Silva be more important. That can be the co-main event of this card. The featured fight of this card, let's do fucking Sean Brady versus Jack Della Maddalena. So let's have whatever it's going to be, fucking Walt Harris versus Josh Parisian as the second fight on the card. Open it with Ashley Evans versus Aylin Perez or whatever. Or open it with Tyson Nam. Honestly, you should open it with Tyson Nam. Second fight, do Harris versus Parisian. Then featured fight, do Sean Brady versus Jack Della Maddalena. Co-main event, do Holm versus Mayra Bueno Silva. And in the main event, I'm going to go into the flyweight division. One guy just had a fight cancelled. The other guy wanted to be the backup for the flyweight title bout. We might as well give him a fight the same, like a week later, if he's going to be waiting for however long it takes for the winner of that main event to fight him, right? So I say let's put these two in there. Winner of this gets the next title shot. And I think this would be a really, really cool main event. Headlining this fight night, let's do Brandon Royval versus Manel Kape. So the new card would be Manel Kape versus Brandon Royval main event. Holly Holm versus Bueno Silva co-main event. Featured fight, Jack Della Maddalena versus Sean Brady. Then Walt Harris as the second fight, and then Tyson Nam as the main card opener. Boom, there you go. Fix that one. Done. On to the next one, yeah? UFC 291. Alright, it's Salt Lake City. There's nothing going on, okay? The London card seems fine in my opinion. Maybe add one more big fight to that. Add like Gunnar Nelson versus somebody on that. But UFC 291, I've been scratching my head about this one, bro. Yeah? With the one on the top of my... Yeah. Okay, I've been scratching my head thinking about this fight, bro. Alright? I don't know what's going to headline this pay-per-view, so I decided to build this card after I fixed all those other ones. And I've got a pretty decent card here for you. I don't have prelims yet. Alright, I will let the UFC do those because I can trust them with prelims. But on August 5th, UFC 291, I'm going to open the card in Salt Lake City with Jeff Neal versus Kevin Holland. Makes sense ranking-wise. They've got history against each other. Kevin Holland's coming off a pretty good W. Beating Santiago Ponzinibbio is a big deal at welterweight. Jeff Neal's coming off a loss to Shavkat, so he's going to have to go down the rankings. I wanted to do like a Kevin Holland versus Jing Liang fight. Maybe if they do that instead, I won't be mad. But opening the card, let's get some ranked welterweights. Let's get Jeff Neal versus Kevin Holland. Banger of a fight to open the card. Tell me you wouldn't be excited to see this fight get announced for a pay-per-view. Don't lie to me, bruh. Because a lot of you guys in the fucking comments, I'll make a fight and you'll go, nah, that shit's ass, bro. Then the UFC will make that exact fucking fight and people will be like, bro, the UFC's going crazy this year. Shut the fuck up. Shut your fucking mouth. Alright, moving on. Okay, I take that shit personal. Second fight. You're going to sense a theme on this card. This guy recently was supposed to have his first ever main event. He had to pull out due to an injury. I don't think it's a super serious injury. I can't find anything about this online. I'm sure someone will comment down below and tell me he broke his fucking leg and I'm an idiot for making this fight. But in case he has a normal fucking injury that he can come back from relatively soon, let's do a lightweight bout. One of them's ranked. One of them is a fucking beast and I just forgot about him completely until I was looking for an opponent. I want to see Renato Moicano versus Ishmael Bonfim. Now, yes, I do know that's a picture of Gabriel Bonfim. There is literally no photos online of fucking Ishmael Bonfim. I don't know why, bro. I cannot find his UFC official render, bro. So I've got Gabriel here. But Moicano versus Ishmael Bonfim. That's a fucking fire fight, dude. Tell me you don't want to see that shit. And tell me you fucking thought of that before. Because I know you haven't, bro. I know I'm a genius. Alright, you can tell me down below if you think so yourself. But second fight on the card. Let's get Renato Money Moicano versus Ishmael Bonfim. That's a fucking banger right there. That probably makes more sense than Moicano versus Sarukian too. Let's be real. So that's my second fight of this card in Salt Lake City. Moving on to the featured bout. And now this is where it all comes into play. Yeah? Because if you'll remember, the July 15th card that I turned into Royval versus Kape with Sean Brady versus JDM on the card. Banger fucking fight night. Would pay to watch that. Right? Okay, I wouldn't pay. I don't pay for any of this shit, you know. So I already have a subscription paid for me. So, but what I'm saying is, way better fight night than what we're probably going to get. We removed one fight from that card, and I'm putting it on UFC 291. They deserve to be in front of a huge crowd as a featured bout. I want Vicente Luque versus Rafael Dos Anjos as the featured fight of UFC 291. Okay, they deserve to fight in front of a crowd. This is a banger fucking fight. And if it's going to be 3 rounds anyways, then why would we not put it on a pay-per-view instead of putting it on a fucking Holly Holm undercard? I'm not even going to talk about why Holly Holm is the main event. I don't know. I was taught if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all or make a YouTube channel. One of those 2 options, and I'm here, bro. Like, Holly Holm is the most boring fucking fighter in the UFC, dude. I'm sick of her shit, bro. Okay? I know she's, like, likable. Alright? I'm not going to talk about the fact that she's probably on that Bane shit, bro. But still, dude. I just don't get it. I don't get the fucking hype with Holly Holm. Why is the UFC so obsessed with her, dude? The Ronda Rousey fight was like 10 years ago, bro. Get over it. She's not that good. She's so boring. She literally blitzes forward and holds against the cage every single fight. Anyways, she doesn't deserve to be a main event. And yeah, it's just fucking bullshit. So if we're gonna do that shit, let's put these 2 on a fucking real card. Let's get these 2 some real fucking fans watching, bro. Because no one gives a shit about Holly Holm versus Bueno Silva. And that's just a fact, bro. So I think this is a good feature fight for UFC 291. Moving on to the co-main event, I need some star power, right? These are all good fights. You know, Neal versus Holland, Moicano versus Bonfim, Luque versus RDA, all great fights. Not necessarily pay-per-view selling fights. Obviously pay-per-view worthy fights, right? Because that's what I do around here. But not necessarily pay-per-view selling, and I need a fight with some stakes on it. The winner of this is probably going to get a title shot, as sad as that makes me to say when you see who it is. But I think this is a big money fight. I think we need a 5-round co-main event to save UFC 291. We need Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier, the rematch. 5 rounds, Salt Lake City, so they're both going to gas. It's going to turn into street beefs in round 4. No one wants to acknowledge the fact that both of these dudes aren't super duper elite in compared to like the Islam Makhachevs and the Alexander Volkanovskis of 155. These guys would fit quite nicely at middleweight sometimes. Some of the times they fight, you know. But this is a banger fight, dude. I'm hyped. I'd be hyped to watch this shit, dude. I think this would be an awesome co-main event to a pay-per-view. This would be the selling point of the pay-per-view, let's be honest. But UFC needs title fights to headline these cards. So reluctantly, I'm gonna give you a main event over that fight. You don't have to watch it. Once Gaethje versus Poirier 2 is over and Gaethje beats him by decision, we can go to the main event. And the only title fight you can make, unless you make fucking Israel Adesanya versus Chimaev or Covington, right? And you piss off everybody. Or you make Adesanya versus Pereira 3 way too early in Salt Lake City, which would just be weird as fuck. Which I don't think the UFC is going to do. I feel like the only option for this card, logically, you can't get Jamal Hill. Who's Jamal Hill going to fight? It's not going to be Johnny Walker. Like, he just beat Anthony Smith, bro. I went 9-2 on that card, by the way. Just letting you know. Main event. It has to be Grasso versus Shevchenko, bro. There's nothing else. There's no other title fights that you can make. Right? Because now Wei Li is going to be fighting Yan Jiaonan, so she's not fighting now. She's going to just probably fight Yan Jiaonan in like late August or early September in China. That fight's booked, right? She needs to train for that. Lightweight's October. Welterweight is probably fucking October as well, let's be honest. So there's no other title fights you can really make. I say Grasso versus Shevchenko headlines, right? Because we've got a title on the fucking poster. And apparently that's all you need to sell pay-per-views. But the real fights, you've got Gaethje versus Poirier. You've got fucking RDA versus Luque. You've got Holland versus fucking Neal. You've got Moicano, who's fucking hilarious, versus Bonfim, who's a badass dude. I think this is a pretty good UFC 291, considering the circumstances. Considering the UFC has left literally no other options in terms of big fights to make. So this is how I would save the UFC's lineup for the summer. Let me know what you think of these cards down below. I fixed the 290 prelims. I made July 15th way better. You know, we've added Sean Brady JDM. We've made Manel Kape versus Brandon Royval. And then 291, I think I've put together a pretty good card. So let me know what you think of these lineups down below. Did I fix it? Did I make it worse? I want to hear your opinions on these cards down below. And let me know what you think of the UFC's upcoming schedule. Is it trash or not, bro? I want to hear. Drop a like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video, boys. Goodbye.